Ed Rogers is asking why Lathan Ransom is not starting.
Well,
Well,
I responded to him in the chat just saying that he didn't have a spring ball,
yeah,
so this is his first real experience with the Jim Knowles defense. But he spent the entire we talked to him yesterday, and he spent his entire rehab studying and being ready for the defense, and so now he knows it. But they really like Ronnie Hickman, so they're not going to start anybody over Ronnie Hickman. They really like Josh Proctor, so they're not really going to start anybody over him right now. I think they just like the ability to put Lathan Ransom wherever they need him, and they can also come up with some stuff for him to do. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he's playing quite a bit against Notre Dame because he's more of a cover guy than Court Williams. If they want to use him as that nickel guy against a Notre Dame tight end like Michael Mayer instead of Tanner McAllister, who is smaller, but I think they have an idea of ways to use him, but it's just the two guys that are starting are entrenched at this point. And remember, Josh Proctor, this is his fifth year, and Ronnie Hickman, this is his fourth year. So those are two veterans, while Lathan Ransom is still just a junior at this point.
yeah, I think you hit all the things I was going to say. Is he was set back a little bit by not being there in the spring, and they've got three pretty good guys penciled in as the starters right now that they want to go with. So I think Ransom's going to play. I think Court Williams is going to play. Potential that Kai Stokes will play as well. Cameron Martinez is in that mix as well, although he's kind of a utility guy that could play. It sounds like any of the five secondary positions. When you talk about the two cornerback positions and the three safety positions, he could move around. And to listen to Perry Eliano talk about it, don't get married to the idea that somebody is the bandit, somebody is the adjuster, and somebody is the whatever the name of the other one is, the nickel, because they're interchangeable. And in one series, you could have somebody, Hickman at the bandit. In the next series, he could be the adjuster. So, depending on how they need to rotate to get guys rest and whatever. So, don't get too wrapped up in the names. Just my big thing is to look at the overall product, and is it going to be much improved? Yes. I don't think we have any doubt about that. I think that's what everybody who's been at practice and the players, the coaches, any observers are saying the defense is going to be much better. And how much better? That's the question we're left with. But, Lathan Ransom is an important part of this, just as Cameron Martinez and Court Williams are, even if they're not out there for the exact very first play of the game. So, take it for what it's worth, I guess.
Sarge is asking about Chip Trayanum's role and if he will get any reps at running back, or is he getting those?
Yeah, they announced that he did, he got a little bit of a look. He's kind of an emergency guy, obviously, because of the injury to Evan Pryor. You have a 1-2 punch of Trevion Henderson and Mayan Williams. Dallin Hayden is your number 3. And, they were very complimentary of Dallin Hayden and the work he'd put in, especially upon the injury to Evan Pryor. But, Chip Trayanum is probably your number 3 linebacker. So you're not going to want to pull him too much away from that. But I think that there certainly could be an instance where if need be, that Chip Trayanum could do something there. I mean, obviously that was the position that he played at Arizona State, so it's something that's familiar to him. But yeah, I think if I'm setting some sort of over/under on how many snaps I expect to see Chip Trayanum play at running back, you would have to come in with a really low number for me to come in and say, okay, well, I'll go over, because I don't really see that being the case. I mean, it's going to be pretty similar to the number of snaps at running back that I expect to see out of, say, Steel Chambers.
Yeah, I'd set it at 0.5 and take the under. They put him there for part of the day just to make sure he still knew how to ride the bike, and that's all that was, in my opinion. And then pretty much Ryan Day confirmed that. So, yeah.
Brady's asking here more of a coaching versus underperforming question about the defensive line. Were they not as good because then they needed to be because that the offensive line was never confused?
I mean, if you're good enough, confusion. I mean, they never had to confuse anybody with what they were doing with Chase Young. Now he's elite, but there is some predictability to what Larry Johnson wants his defensive line to do, but it's been successful over the years. I just, I don't. I just don't know that they were as good as everybody thinks, or they were close at times, but that a product of what you're talking about there about the offense not really being all that concerned or confused, but they also throw the ball quickly against Ohio State's defensive line to avoid those sacks. So I expect the defense as a whole to be better this year. They're going to be doing some things differently on the defensive line, so I don't know how active those guys are necessarily going to be pass rushing, although Jim Knowles is kind of poo-pooing the thought that he's just going to have them pinching and being totally focused on stopping the run. So, I'm interested to see what the young guys do, how much that fuels the old guys. And if at some point Larry Johnson just hands it over to the second-year guys, and by handing it over, they're not going to be playing 50 snaps, but if, they end up playing 35 to the vets, 25 or something like that,